This is Raider News Update with Bianca Chavez and Maya Robinson with the news, Nicole Ostrovsky with arts and entertainment, and Dan Labransky with sports. And now, from Studio B at Scotch Plains Fenwood High School, Bianca Chavez and Maya Robinson.
Welcome to Period 7/8 edition of Raider News Update. I'm Bianca Chavez.
And I'm Maya Robinson. Scotch Plains Fanwood schools were closed from Friday, March 21st to Friday, March 28th for spring recess. Many students traveled to other counties, states, and even countries to enjoy their time off from school. Let's go on location to find out how their spring breaks went.
Mike Delma here on location with spring breaker Kevin Welsh. So Kevin, what'd you do this spring break?
Well, I went down to Florida, Port St. Lucie, to see some Met spring training action.
And how did that go?
Well, it was good. I got to be close to all the players and got to see their newest addition, Johan Santana, pitch.
And how did he do?
He's kind of amazing. He didn't even allow a run or anything.
I'm here with Martin Sweeney. So Martin, where did you go this spring break?
Well, I went a bunch of places. I went up to Boston to look at a bunch of colleges and stuff, and then we ended up going to Ithaca for a little bit, Ithaca, New York. So it was okay.
I'm here with Aaron McGowan and Lee Kwasny. So Aaron, where'd you go this spring break?
I went to Florida and I went to Disney World with my family and my brother's friend Mikey Bover, and it was really fun. We went to all the parks and we went on all the big rides. It was pretty cool.
And Lee, where'd you go?
I went to Lake Placid in New York and we went skiing with my family.
Sounds cool. I'm here with Mr. Turnbull. So Mr. Turnbull, what'd you do over spring break?
Well, the day before Easter, I flew over to London and went to a soccer game and saw Chelsea defeat Arsenal, their arch rivals, 2-1. Chelsea was losing until the last 20 minutes, and then Didier Drogba scored 2 phenomenal goals. And then I had Easter dinner with my friend from when I was a boy and his family, and then the next morning I flew home. So I went to London for 28 hours to see a soccer game.
Wow. Well, you heard it here first. Now back to the studio.
According to the McClatchy Tribune News Service, as many as 50% of healthy adults and children are deficient in vitamin D. Vitamin D builds strong bones by promoting the absorption of calcium. Recent research indicates D is important to almost all body tissues. Low levels of vitamin D have been linked to increased risk of breast and prostate cancer, colon polyps, multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, muscle weakness, even depression and schizophrenia. So what can we do? Spend more time in the sun, since skin produces vitamin D when exposed to the sun rays. Sunscreen blocks 95% of the sun's capacity to make vitamin D in your skin. Milk, yogurt, and orange juice contain 100 units of vitamin D per 1 cup serving. Since some doctors believe we need 1,000 to 2,000 units each day, we either need to drink a lot more than normal or get more quality exposure to the sunshine. Spending just 15 minutes in the sun before applying sunscreen can make 25,000 units of vitamin D. So get out in the sun.
Scotch Plains Fanwood High School's chapter of Schools for Schools held a Week of Peace, taking place from Monday, March 31st to Friday, April 4th. The week began with face paint, as club members painted peace signs on students' faces and hands, free of charge. It was also the beginning of construction of a peace sign on the school's side entrance wall, made entirely of cut-out hands. Ribbon sales began at the reasonable price of $1, and these sales continued Tuesday. On Wednesday, students helped in making a chalk mural and artistic designs in the high school parking lot. Thursday was probably the busiest and most productive day of the week. From the hours of 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Schools for Schools held a fundraiser at Cheeseburger, during which time customers who presented a Schools for Schools flyer could donate 15% of their bill to the organization. Additionally, the Invisible Children Assembly took place when the East Coast roadies of this organization came to speak about the progress of Uganda's peace talks, and also showed a short documentary. Finally, on Friday, students wore tie-dye clothing to show their support for the Week of Peace and the fundamentals and goals of Schools for Schools.
According to the New Jersey Star-Ledger, recent reports by the American Heart Association have said that hands-only CPR, rapid deep presses on the victim's chest, works just as well as standard CPR for sudden cardiac arrest in adults. This hands-only CPR is much simpler and easier to remember. It only calls for uninterrupted chest presses, 100 a minute, until the paramedics take over. Hopefully, bystanders will now be more willing to jump in and help victims struggling with cardiac arrest.
And now let's go to our quote of the week.
And now let's head to Arts and Entertainment with Nicole Ostrowski.
Thank you, Bianca. Top 5 songs for this week include Touch My Body by Mariah Carey at number 1, 4 Minutes by Madonna, Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis, Lollipop by Lil Wayne, and Beat It by Fall Out Boy. Top 5 movies include 21 at number 1, Dr. Seuss's Horton Hears a Who at number 2, Superhero Movie at number 3, Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns at number 4, and Drillbit Taylor at number 5. In other news, the Kids' Choice Awards aired last Saturday, March 29th, with many memorable moments. Winners of the night included Miley Cyrus, Drake Bell, the Jonas Brothers, Avril Lavigne, and Chris Brown. It was a night of fun, music, and slime for everyone. Now let's go to Critics Corner with Liz and Brian.
Hi, this week on Critics Corner, we're reviewing the movie Never Back Down. This movie was about a boy that moves to a new school and has to avoid trying to get into fights, but he ends up fighting a bunch of people. And just tells about his struggle trying to be the top fighter in his town.
As I was watching this movie, I noticed a rusty nail on the side of my seat, and I was contemplating throughout the film whether or not to plunge my eyeball into it. Luckily, I decided to continue watching the film, but unfortunately, this movie was very bad. The plot was very predictable, the dialogue was cheesy, and overall, it was just a very bad movie. The action was entertaining for UFC fans, but I mean, I would definitely not recommend seeing this movie.
I agree. I thought the story was really bad, but the actors were really good looking, so I thought it was enjoyable. Now back to the studio.
Now let's go to the weekend preview.
Hi, and welcome back to Period 7/8's Weekend Preview. I'm Rob Desiato.
And I'm Julia Ross, and here's your weekend preview.
In sports this weekend, come support the boys varsity baseball team against Bridgewater Raritan at Scotch Plains Fanwood High School. Come support the girls varsity softball team against Bridgewater Raritan at Bridgewater High School. And come support the track team at the Kearney Relays.
This weekend, new movies to go out and see are Nims Island, The Ruins, and The Leatherheads. New DVDs to go and see are I Am Legend, Sweeney Todd, and Kite Runner. Have a good weekend.
And now it's time for sports with Dan Lebransky.
Thanks, Maya. The Yankees and Mets were both scheduled to open their season on Monday afternoon. Unfortunately, the Yankees vs. Blue Jays was rained out and rescheduled for Tuesday. However, the Mets opened their season in Florida against the Marlins with a strong debut for newly acquired pitcher Johan Santana. The Mets defeated the Marlins 7-2, and third baseman David Wright had 3 RBIs. Yankees pitcher Chien-Ming Wang will start the last opening day at Yankee Stadium against Roy Halladay of the Toronto Blue Jays. March has been alive with madness this year in college basketball, and the NCAA tournament is down to its final 4 teams. For the first time in history, all 4 number 1 seeds have made the Final Four, which is being played on Saturday in San Antonio. In the first matchup, UCLA will take on Memphis, followed by Kansas vs. North Carolina. Kansas is coming off of a victory over Davidson, the Cinderella story of the tournament, led by their sharpshooting star Stephen Curry. The winner of Saturday's matchups will face each other in the championship game on Monday night in San Antonio. Let's find out who some students think will win the championship game.
Hi, I'm Matt Shibatari here on location with NCAA Final Four predictions. So who do you think will win?
I think North Carolina's going to win.
And who do you think will win?
No doubt Kansas.
So I'm here on location with NCAA Final Four predictions. I'm here with Ryan Brown and Matt Simon. Ryan, who do you think will win?
I think UCLA is going to win.
And Matt, who do you think will win?
I think UCLA also win.
So I'm here with Sean Coloni and Mike DeFaro. So Sean, who do you think will win the Final Four?
Kansas.
And Mike, who do you think will win?
UNC.
All right, now back to the studio.
Now back to Bianca and Maya.
And now let's head to Car of the Week.
Welcome back. This week's Car of the Week for Period 7/8. I'm Chris Santangelo.
And I'm Rob Desiato.
And this is Colin Grimm's Infiniti G35. This Infiniti is sitting on 18-inch, 10-spoke rims. Very nice, polished and everything. It's got a silver gray metallic paint finish. And let's make our way over to the engine here. This engine's got 306 horsepower. It's a V6. Has dual air intakes. Very nice engine made by Infiniti.
And here on Colin's car, we got the nice black leather interior. with the wood dash and the Tiptronic transmission that powers all-wheel drive.
Yeah! Everybody dance now! Let's go! Ho! Let's go! Make it hot! Come on! Let's go! Rock! Rock! Say, let's go! Everybody dance now! Rock this party! Dance everybody! Make it hot in this party! Don't stop! Move your body! Rock this party! Dance everybody! Make it hot in this party! Everybody dance now! Don't know what's on your mind. We come for you, have a good time. Me want you on your waistline. Me want you shake your behind. I'm in a dancing mood, girl, and I'm feeling good. This is my favorite tune. Put on your dancing shoes. Gonna make you feel so good tonight, girl. Gonna make you sweat tonight, girl. Me gonna make you wet tonight, girl. Me gonna make you feel alright.
I came to rock at this party, cause I can make you feel alright. Sweet boy, you're rocking your body. Rock it straight through the night. Oh, you want this body. Oh, you want it now. Sweet boy, you're rocking your body. Cause I'm gonna make you mine tonight.
Let's go! Let's go! Dance, now everybody move, move. Now everybody shake, shake. Now everybody.
Well, guys, I think it's time for us to just sit back and enjoy this Bose sound system. Take this car for a nice little ride. We'll see you next week.
We love how the DJ playing. Oh, what a lovely feeling. So close to me, heart beating. Hold me tight, girl.
And now it's time for weekend weather with meteorologist Matt.
Welcome to Weekend Weather. I'm meteorologist Matt. For Friday, there's going to be highs around 54 and lows around 50 with an 80% chance of rain and high winds. For Saturday, there's supposed to be rain and overcast till midday with highs in the mid-50s and lows around 40. And for Sunday, it's going to be partly cloudy and dry most of the day with highs around 60s and lows around 40. Have a good weekend. Now back to the studio.
That sums it up for this edition of Raider News Update.
We'll see you next week for Period 9's edition.